I want to talk about surrender. What does it look like? How do you know when you've surrendered? It's not something you do, but it's something that happens in you. It reveals itself. And I want to tell you about surrender with an analogy. So I've given the prison example about ego, being comfortable in the prison because all it cares about is your survival. It's a coping mechanism. It's a coping machine that gets activated when something negative happens. All kinds. So, regards to surrender, let's think about it. So if you were to let's go back to the prison. You were born and raised in a prison. Not that you did anything wrong, but you were just born in the prison. That's your known life. And there's enlightenment outside. There's the mystical outside. There's the divine you that is waiting for you. The higher self that is waiting for you out there. There's only one way to get out. And everybody knows it. It's not a secret. And the way is that there's this tunnel under the prison, like the 𝐄𝐍𝐘𝐒 Redemption movie, best movie ever made. And I was thinking about that. I was like, imagine you have to go through this tunnel that has the worst filth you can imagine. The smell, the things that are in there is just disgusting. Worst thing you can imagine. And you have to crawl within that tunnel, and it's a long tunnel. But the guards are not going to stop you from becoming free. You're free to go. But you must crawl into that tunnel. You can't walk out the front door. If you want freedom, you must go through the filth and suffer. And you don't know what that suffering is going to be like. You don't know how much worse it might get before you're out and you're free again. Which is what your true self is. Kind of like an onion, right? Imagine if this life, this simulation, this beautiful experience that you have chosen to be in, and if it's not beautiful, that's because of you. You can change it. And you start to take these identities and beliefs and these things apart, and you get to the middle of the onion. And even the middle of the onion, there's just a piece of an onion. And when you remove everything, what's left? Nothing. And that's when you realize the entire onion was in the way of your enlightenment. There was nothing within the onion that you needed. You just need the onion to get out of the way. And that's when the surrender happens. Now imagine your life is painful enough, you've experienced enough, where you're ready to suffer, but it's a meaningful suffering in order to become enlightened being, mystical being, the divine being that you are. And you're willing to now suffer, but your new suffering has a meaning behind it. It's a meaningful suffering. So you will get into that pipe and you're going to start crawling and it's going to suck. And you don't know how long it's going to suck, right? And it might make you sick and you might throw up because it's just so much. And you just keep going and you just keep going. Because you know there's the promised land, which is who you always have been. This character has been so strongly embedded in you. You have become it. You have become this character to a point where you don't recognize who you are, who you truly are. And I'm inviting you to pretend to be who you truly are until you become it. Fake it until it happens. And the more you fake it, the more you are removing attention from this illusion. And when you remove attention from something, you take energy away from it. And you put your attention onto the real you, who you always have been. And when you're doing that, you're shedding like an onion, because you're not paying attention to the onion anymore. And the onion layers are just shedding. You're becoming more and more pure, more and more whole. You're not becoming more and more pure and whole. You are revealing the fact that you are whole and you are healed. There's no such thing as you being sick. You never get sick. Your body experiences sickness, which is what? All sickness is lowering of frequency. You can make yourself well with just meditations, blessing your energy centers, doing breath work. Diseases and illnesses that have no cure, you can cure yourself from it. And the moment you start peeling off these layers of onions, because you're not paying attention to it anymore, and it's taking the attention off of it, because now you're putting your attention into your soul, in your magnetic field, into your intentions, into the mystical experiences, into the divinity of who you always have been. And the more you do that, the more you, by default, begin to what I would call surrender. See, the words that I use, I want you guys to pay attention to the spaces between the words, and I want you guys to feel the intention and the energy behind the words and the desire of me trying to make you understand and see things. And those things will reveal themselves to you, within you, through your energy centers, through your awareness. The divine in you will see right through my words when you open your heart, when you just hear me and see me with some clarity. That's all I'm here to do. Like a lighthouse, a guide, right? I wouldn't call it me teaching you something and convincing you. So I'm just here to reveal you to you. I just want to knock that onion out of the way. Your identities and beliefs and who you think you are. All these, and then you can see yourself for who you always have been. But for that to happen, you got to get through the pipe. You got to crawl through the filth. And you're crawling because walking, standing up is not working. It's not going to work. It hasn't worked for you. Has it? So, and when you get into that pipe and you make that decision, no matter what happens, I'm going to get to the other side, something in you changes. Think about what that changes. That you don't understand, you don't care how much the suffering is going to be. You've had it enough. You've had it. I'm going to get to the other side and I want to know what's out there, because enough with this. I'm sick of this. And when you get to the other side, the entire game, the simulation, the realities are now in your control, because you realize that the only person that was in the way of you and the realities and desires that you want to experience is you. You were in the way and you got out of the way. The ego, the analytical mind, the identities, the beliefs, the things you were stuck to, the bonds of the traumas, everything was in the way. Don't give up on yourself. I won't. I won't give up on you. I love you.